Good morning, YouTube. I'm trying to get both my cameras set up. Happy if you're jumping on this morning. All right. Am I on yet? No, I'm not. Okay. We are, and we're on. Good morning, everyone. Dr. Val here. I've been talking about fasting. I have an upcoming online fasting class. It's 7 weeks long if you want to learn things, not just about fasting, but diet variation and the benefits of increasing ketones in your diet, and you're interested about it, comment below fasting class. I'll mention that again at the end. But if you are of the mindset that you're like, oh, I could never do fasting, that's just crazy. Well, let me tell you this. So this morning I was compiling notes that I had on intermittent fasting. I've been to a lot of conferences where we talk about fasting and the science and the studies. And it really just kind of hit me the incredible amount of information behind intermittent fasting and the power that that has to change your body in amazing ways. So, what is intermittent fasting? First of all, if you typically eat, say, you eat at 7 o'clock in the morning or 7:30, and your last meal of the day is, say, 6, but then you have a snack before bed. Your last meal of the day really is anything from the first thing you put in your mouth, whether that's coffee, to the last thing you put in the mouth, your popcorn or whatever before bed. That window is your eating window. Okay. And that might be 14 hours long. So while you're sleeping, you're not eating. But then the rest of the time, your body is in store mode. It has to go into storage mode anytime you put anything in your mouth, whether that's one handful of nuts, whether it's the swig of kombucha, whatever it is, your body has to drop everything and go into storage mode to deal with that food or drink that you just gave it, to process it, break it down, store it. So, studies have shown when you shrink your eating window down, that extends the amount of time that your body can be in this resting and repair mode. And studies show that if you can go at least, so there's benefits that start kicking in that they measure even at 13 hours and 15 hours and 16 hours. Like, there's all these different studies that say, you know what, this really kicks in after 15 to 16 hours. If you can do that where your eating window is now 8 hours, okay, so there's 24 hours in a day. If you are only eating, if you're not eating for 16 of those hours and you eat like between, let's say, 11 and 7, if that's your eating window, then you're going to have a meal midday and a meal, and finish by 7. So there's no other food or drink intake other than water outside of that. Then you have an 8-hour eating window. And there's benefit to that. When you do that on a regular basis or semi-regular, you don't ever want to get stuck in one mode of eating. You always want to change it up, but that's another topic. So, if you shrink your window down to 8 hours, 6 hours, there's huge benefits. And so this morning I was just reading some of my notes from past talks that I've been at. And, what can happen if, you're not eating for 15 hours and then you eat everything in that time. You are kind of calorie restricting by the fact that you're not eating many, many, many times a day. So what you eat needs to be good, but you can eat and eat and eat as much as you want, okay, during your eating window. Eat good because the calories that you do take in are far more important But there was a study done 2016 that was published, and if this was in mice, but they took these mice and they gave this group of mice food that was just out laying out and available 24 hours a day. And they took this group over here and they gave them one meal a day. And the mice that were eating one meal a day ate a little bit less, but they lived 40% longer than the mice that had access to food 24/7. And they could just go over and eat whenever they wanted to. There's numerous other studies that show very similar results. It extends your lifespan. Okay, who doesn't want that? Live a little longer? Oh my word. Intermittent fasting has been shown to increase the telomere length on your DNA. You say, what the heck is that? So, on the ends of your chromosomes and DNA strands, there's this little bit, and we didn't used to know what it did, but we called it a telomere. However long or short that bit is really determines the length, the lifespan of the organism. I mean, it's a cell length marker, but the shorter it is, the shorter the lifespan overall. Those cells can only replicate so many times, kind of like a timer or a countdown clock. Intermittent fasting has been shown to actually increase the length of the telomeres in your cells. That means you live longer, as shown in mice, but it actually has been shown itself to increase the length in human cells. Well, life studies are a little harder to do in humans, and measuring lifespan, they're looking at individual telomere length. That's pretty cool. So with just 15 hours of fasting, that means really you have a 9-hour eating window. Okay. So that would be like 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's not that hard to do. You can bump your breakfast back, get in the habit of eating 2 meals a day or 2 meals and something in between. Vary that up. But even with 15 hours a day, insulin levels go down, inflammatory markers go down, your growth hormone, if you go longer than 15 hours a day, your growth hormone shoots up. Growth hormone is really important in a whole lot of repair mechanisms and massive benefits. It can increase by as much as 2,000% just by eating 1 to 2 meals a day. If your intermittent window, if that fasting, if your eating window is less than like 8 hours, you're getting massive benefits. Goodness, I read about was reviewing about 4 different studies this morning, and it just, it's not that hard to do. Anybody can do that. My typical pattern is that, even if I'm eating keto or paleo, because I cycle and switch in and out, or, some other variation, I will typically intermittent fast 5 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week. Okay, usually 5. And when you do that on a regular basis, you start to see things over time that really, really start affecting your health, your sleep, your hormones. I mean, all these things. So if you think, well, I could never fast, okay, you shouldn't jump into a 5-day fast. It's like running a marathon. You wouldn't do it without practice. Intermittent fasting is kind of the practice. It gets your ketones up. Anything over about 13 hours, your body has used up all of its glycogen stores, which is the sugar storage in the liver, that the body's like, okay, I have this, because you're not going to eat overnight. Your body burns that, and by 13 hours, it's run out of that storage. And so the body has to learn how to fat adapt. Even if your eating window is 8 or 9 hours a day, your body still starts to learn how to turn on that fat burning mechanism to use ketones for fuel and fat for fuel instead of sugar. So you're training your body a little bit at a time to be more fat adapted. And over time, you end up way more prepared to go into a fast. So if you're of the mindset that you can never do a fast, think about intermittent fasting. There's massive benefits, even literally from shrinking down your eating window and eating, twice a day. I'm just, okay, set that as a goal. I'm going to have a lunch, which that should be your bigger meal of the day, and then dinner. You shouldn't eat for 3 hours before you go to bed. No midnight snacking, no whatever right before you go to bed. That alone, when you do it on a regular basis, has immense health benefits, immense. So don't discount that. It's really important. So just wanted to throw that out. If you're interested in my upcoming 7-week online class all about beyond fasting and how to boost your stem cells naturally. Oh yeah, stem cells. That's a key phrase these days. Comment below fasting class. I will get you that information. And have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.